Okay, abusia ba mako aba sonko so edeba POG Media so abusia yembonra jensem no after say ye suspended Chief Justice no ono ankasa tenase a suspending na ya suspending no watena se adwene ho masisi a no ono ankasa atro resignation letter edi akọ John Dramani Mahama or the Akroma na or say on one kasa I resign from any position or on now Emma and Nguasi Emba ebusuya enye asem ketu akrana oko Esther Ayensu ni pager or the ato say what's the breaking news she has resigned ? And down to Esther Ayensu ni post no and let us say a project ato ye screen in chain at the amamona enye asam keto akra into the breaking news or why ye de bremuno I see doing ketianso at the ensembi ababa tuja ebusia let us say all dropping informations and as the latest update on issues be concerning NDC and HSA omopa power and sembi audi to jamu yankona yankonkoti and some course na answer na bekono or and some can be a fashe your comment section like share my afro so answer into me and can be POG Media so beramase
on a quiet, so we'll see how it unfolds. One of the main reasons why we asked for your August presence this morning was developments at the local level and the nomination of the various mayors, MMCs, DCs in all of these regions. Compared to the past, where there appeared to be a lot of brouhaha on who was named and who got the job, it does appear that your party has fairly managed this well this year. It's just been a few in one or two areas where I've heard of a bit of rancor here and there. You, I understand, has been in charge of the process. How have you managed it to a point where we are not hearing all of this rancor and sometimes like near fisticuffs sometimes? You're a local government man, I know.
I hope you are referring to your you means you as a group and not me as a group.
But you lead the group.
Oh, well, it is
the chairman should get praise at some point.
It is a collective work.
So what have you done differently?
But let me say that we are not out of the woods yet. Some of the people, some of the nominees have been announced. There are still others yet to be announced.
Because they are still jostling.
So you don't declare victory in the middle of an election.
They are still chasing you around with CVs.
No. We finished the interviews. But the results of the interviews constitute advice to the president. So the president, the ball is in the president court now to act on the last batch of names that we have cleared and submitted to him. And I would say that in all this, whatever anybody does, it is the president that has the authority or power to take a decision.
So your work is done. Nobody should come to you.
Our work is done. We are left with only 3 special cases, 3 districts with special cases that we are dealing with. But 258 out of the 261 is done and sealed and submitted to the president.
What are these 3 areas and what are the issues?
Oh, there are issues that I don't think it is appropriate to talk about now. But the 3 districts are Tatale, Pandai, and Sawase. These are the 3. So we will get back to them after Easter and quickly finish with them. There are no major issues actually, but we can deal with them and finish with them. But 258 has been done to the best of our ability, and that's why I'm saying that when you are giving credit, the credit must go first to the president, because it is the president who exercises his wisdom in constituting such a committee. And if that committee does anything that is credit worthy, that credit must go to the president, because he could have established any other committee and the work may or may not have been different. So if you are a leader and you are able to identify the right people to assign them the right duties to do their work, it means you are a good leader. So to that extent, whatever we have done, if there is any credit due, must go to the president. But since we are human beings and we are fallible, if there is anything that did not go well, then it is the committee that takes that responsibility. But let me say that the limited success we have gotten, I'm choosing my words very well, limited success, because the last tranche will deal with the bigger regions. There is Greater Accra, Ashanti region, and Eastern region yet to be released. These are the three biggest regions, and the numbers are huge, and the competition is stiffer. Okay. Besides these three regions, all the other regions have been announced, and the approval processes are going on and so on. But if you take these three regions, their numbers alone is getting close to about 6 of the regions that have been announced already. So we are not out of the woods yet. But I'm happy that you raised this question. It gives us opportunity to also explain our procedures, because in the absence of information, people speculate and they fill the vacuum with all sort of narratives which may not be true. But you didn't give me opportunity to even say good morning to your listeners.
Forgive me. I mean, no, in general. I mean, even with the way we started the conversation, you walked in and straight away there was an issue you saw there, and we had to just take it from there. So forgive me. Forgive me. Forgive me. I'm sure you listening would understand.
Good morning to listeners, and I'm happy to be back to Class FM. This a place I don't frequent very often. It's a shame to me, because you are very friendly and if you like factual, media house.
Thank you.
I listen to you a lot.
Thank you.
It's a shame that I don't get opportunity to present myself here for interview. So this is a rare opportunity. I hope you are not going to stretch me.
When we need information from you, we'll come to you.
I'm not going to stretch me too far.
But generally, back on the issue we're discussing, the last time I had the local government here, this must be plus or minus about 2 weeks ago. He told us about the stringent plans the committee put in place to ensure that this was done. I mean, for the purpose of those who may have missed out on that conversation, if you could kindly run us through what exactly you did, because what we know is that you went through a litany of processes to arrive at 3, a shortlisted 3, which is passed on to the president, and the president chooses 1. If you could help us with that process again, for people who are not okay with what they are hearing and all of that.
I believe the president was deliberate in constituting the membership of the committee, because every member on the committee has, I believe, a reason why they have to be there. First of all, you have Honorable Cletus Avoka. He was once one of the longest serving members of parliament in this country, a very accomplished legal practitioner. and everything goes for him. You remember there was a time he was one of the 3 wise men.
That's right.
So and today he's a member of the Council of State. So he was elected as a member. You have Honorable Collins Dauda, currently the longest serving member of parliament in the Ghana's parliament.
The Methuselah of parliament.
And he doubles as a former minister for local government. So he's been on the executive, he's handled the ministry, and he knows the issues. And he's been a member of parliament. You know, this occasion of appointing or nominating DCs, one of the sources of conflict is always between, what the member of parliament wants and what party executives want and so on. So Honorable Collins Dauda was made a member of the committee. Honorable Valerie Sawyer, very distinguished lawyer and a governance practitioner, and everybody knows that he's like an iron lady. When something is white, it is white. When it is black for her. She cannot be bullied. And he has also a reputation to protect. Then you have Honorable Fifi Kwete, who is the General Secretary of our party. Everybody knows about our General Secretary and how strict he is. And then Honorable, a member of senior member of parliament, who I believe chairs the Volta Regional Caucus in Parliament, Honorable Bejira, also a long-serving member.
He's, I think, about the 5th term member of Parliament or so.
So he's also there. And then my good self.
That's a crack team.
So if you look at this team, it is very difficult to suggest that this team can be manipulated. And we all are very sensitive about our individual reputations and the reputation of the government led by His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama. And we are also conscious that as a government, as a new government, if your base, that is the districts and constituencies, are disrupted, then you are sitting on shaky grounds. So we needed to put in every effort to ensure that we get it right. And our manifesto, is in our manifesto that we will be moving towards some form of election of DCs. So this activity will be the last one, hopefully, before the constitutional amendments kick in. So if you do it shabbily, it becomes a record that will stand in your name forever.
Right.
You understand? So we decided that let us devote our ultimate maximum attention to this work. So that was what we did. So we looked at areas which are likely to be the trouble spots after the announcement. And the trouble spots always emerge from the district itself. So how do we involve the district so that when the choice is made, it will be seen as a collective effort that arrived at that decision? And so if you are part of the decision, you cannot stand somewhere to complain. So my General Secretary issued a letter to all the constituencies, asking the constituencies to open the gate for anybody who believes that is capable and willing to become a district chief executive or to be considered for nomination should bring in an application. So there was no limit. Every and any party member who felt that
he was good enough or she was good enough
should put in an application.
That's why you had 40, 45,
So
33 in some areas.
I
saw one that had 41 people interested in the job, and I was like,
oh, okay.
That's going to be something else.
If you have all this, so we open it for everybody to apply. So it's like everybody has been given a chance. No door has been shut for anybody. So if and everybody is aware that the seat is only one. So even if you are 100 and you all had the opportunity to stake your claim, and eventually one person gets nominated, you know, he must be the one whose name was generated out of a collective process. Then we asked the regions to do screening at their level. Previously, we were sending national people to join the regions and so on to do screening and so on. So this one we said, no, we are not going to put our hand in it. Everybody should take a certain stage of the process and hold themselves responsible for the outcomes of that process. So constituencies took applications, brought them to the region. The region did the screening and brought us 3 names each.
What were the parameters at the regional stage? What did they look out for?
Well, we gave them guidelines, but the guidelines were not that exhaustive. We suggested to them that we must be looking at equity, you know, in terms of geographical equity. They must be sensitive to ethnic considerations, ethnic composition of the regions and so on. They must be sensitive to the views of traditional authorities in the area. They must be sensitive to historical antecedents. You can find out that in a particular place, almost every time that is where the DCE comes from, so what happens to the other side and so on. They must be sensitive to all this. And apart from that, we have a manifesto commitment. So manifesto commitments, they must also be sensitive to those ones. And then maybe in a few cases on the campaign trail, there may be areas where the president had made some firm commitment. So we must take all those things into consideration.
Firm commitment as in a particular person?
In a particular area where the DC may come from this time around and so on, you know. And so when you report, and if people want positions, they can even come to claim what the president has not said. But we say, well, whatever the case may be, just listen to all those and input them into the decision making. And, you know, we have a manifesto commitment towards gender and all those, you know, gender, youth, disability, many of these things. So they must be sensitive to all that. So after the region is done with the screening, they should submit the three names for us. So they did that and brought all the shortlisted applicants to us. But we're also conscious that the way our party is structured, there is always opportunity for, if you like, a temptation to pursue self-interest.
At the regional level, you mean?
At whatever level, even branches up to national. Because it is the constituencies where eventually you will have delegates and all that who will be engaged in electing regional executives, and from the same constituency you have delegates who participate in election of national executives and so on. So there is always some invitation to pander to your self-interest if you are put in charge of doing something like that. Because if you get DCs, if you are a regional chairman and you get DCs who you consider to be your people or favorable to you, then you may be thinking that, well, let me put them there so that in future when I want to retain my position as regional secretary or regional,
they can also help.
They can also help. You scratch my
back. I scratch
so
your back.
There is
as well.
that temptation. So we're conscious about that, and we put in measures to limit that temptation as much as possible. What did we do? After we have received the short list, we then opened some space for petitions to be submitted to us about the short.
Okay, abusunya we ne ensema ekoso ewo political highway ne so eye Chief Justice Torkornoo ne honsem enechese ye de ebrema echese ye hu se mo hu se ya drop ato e screen enchen de amamono ye beda masese mo jepe ne kokoti sa details we edemai aha POG Media so madam ase.